In today's EU4 video, I'm playing the Papal States with a little bit of a twist. The Europa Expanded mod gives the Pope a bunch of cool missions, which I use to try and spread Catholicism to all of Europe in about 60 years. And yes, that includes the Ottomans. Who could have possibly guessed today we're going to be playing some more modded EU4. It's not my fault that all these mods are getting really solid updates so recently, and I can't just not play them, so today we're playing some Europa Expanded. If you're unfamiliar with the mod, which to be honest I am kind of myself, then on the surface it might just look like not a lot has changed here because it's not quite the same as a whole overhaul mod that you've seen in the past. Instead, the focus of Europa Expanded is on flavor for individual countries. So we have our Paradox mission tree, which by itself is actually pretty decent, especially for the Pope. But if we look at the Europa Expanded missions, we have quite a few more. Plus some branching missions, and frankly, some of the more interesting mission rewards I've seen in any mod at all. So let's start by taking our Europa Expanded missions. I think also we might have new ideas, although I'm not familiar with the old papal ideas, if these are new ones. So I'm not quite sure about that, but I do like the minus 10% aggressive expansion. Other than that, the mod does update the starting position for a few countries, as well as the UI. So your estate interactions are no longer down here, which I think is much better. So the estates definitely have different mechanics or when they're too powerful, but for us, I don't think that's a big deal because we're the Pope, so the clergy are supposed to be powerful. But enough about the mod generally, let's dive right into the Papal States. I haven't played the Pope in a long time, probably since right when Emperor released, actually. All the way back when I used to make Let's Plays. To start us off, we have like 12 missions, I think, but the only ones we can really do anything about right now are, I think, these three and maybe this one. As far as rivals go, these kind of suck. So we're gonna go with Florence, then Provence, probably Venice. That'll give us a permaclaim on Tuscany and a bit of power projection. We also just don't like Florence, so I think we're gonna try and maybe excommunicate them. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Then as for allies, I mean, I kind of want to go with France, if that's possible. Ooh. Well, maybe not for the time being, but we can work on that. We also need to improve relations with our two subjects, because then we can instantly annex them at no cost with this mission. We also need a total army size of at least 100% of the force limit plus a general. Now, normally what I would do to finish that is just grab the free company, but in this case, apparently we want to hire the free company afterwards, or at least whatever company we hire next is going to be free in terms of professionalism. If we hire this, it is going to cost us a little bit of professionalism, so instead we're just going to hire 4 regular guys. And for now, we unfortunately can't turn the Pope into a general yet. That's gonna take some time, so we'll just grab a regular one. Can't forget about the estates as well. We'll just hand out the rest of the point privileges. It seems the clergy just start out with religious state, which is nice. We'll also get increased levies, I suppose, although it doesn't really do that much. Sure. Supremacy over the papacy is kind of, yeah, it does give the clergy 100% influence, but I mean, it's the Papal States. That's how it's supposed to be, right? How could that possibly be an issue? I'm not going to sell some titles. I'm just going to take Crown Land back for the time being. And if I remember correctly, if nothing's changed too much, which honestly it probably has, then Naples should get their independence somewhat soon-ish. Oh, and we get a letter from Cyprus. Okay. Give them a little bit of money for free. Cool. Lose a bit of manpower. They get some infantry. I really don't think it matters all that much, to be honest, but I kind of want them to like me, so have money, I guess. We do want to improve relations with them because it's possible for us to vassalize them, actually. And as for the Holy See, we can select a bull, but we have hardly any money, so we only really have one button. It's not like we can really do much, and it costs some money. I think we'll just take this. Free dev cost, I can work with that. And if you thought things weren't interesting enough, we have our own entire mechanic, Roman factionalism. We have 2 families, the Orsini and the Colonna families, and we need to make sure they get balanced out, otherwise we get negative effects. We'll have to complete the nepotism mission and enact the Pax Romana decision to deal with the feud. To finish the nepotism mission, we're going to need a lot of money. Also, level 4 in government reform, so that's not happening for a while. It seems we don't actually get negative effects from having either family in power. We just have different effects. So right now, the Colonna family is in power, which gives us Diplo Rep, opinion from other Catholics, and development cost. The Orsini family would give us cheaper mercenaries, cost to fabricate claims, which is whatever, and most importantly, aggressive expansion impact. It seems to me like pretty naturally you're balancing balance of power is going to shift towards the Colonna family, only because developing provinces gives you quite a bit of influence. But for the time being, this is fine. Well, we could use some allies, that's for sure. I guess we'll say yes for now, unless Austria doesn't like them, but I think they're fine. So yeah, and then we'll ally Austria, of course, because actually it would be kind of interesting to maybe join the HRE, although I don't know if there's anything specific for us to do that. We're very much supposed to focus on like owning Italy and then crusading for the most part. I don't think we have a lot of interactions with the Holy Roman Empire. Mission complete. Raise the Papal Guard. We get a couple permanent claims, which is nice. War score from battles modifier. I don't think I've seen that before. And morale of armies. I mean, it'll be nice. We just have to wait for Naples to not be in a personal union, and then maybe we'll press that button. Here we go. France will ally us. We like to see that. Also, because the Faith of Avignon here requires either that France likes us or that we develop it a little bit. And I don't think it matters which one you do. I don't think it affects the outcome. You get to pick the path regardless, but that's another thing to work towards. And Austria immediately doesn't like us. Cool. How about we stop being friends with you and we start trying to be friends with Austria, maybe? Although I don't think they're going to say yes. That Diplo rep might barely be enough to keep the alliance. Perfect. So, Avignon. We are allied to the French, so I don't know if the conquest path is going to immediately put us at odds with them, but as it says, it's quite likely that if we hold on to Avignon, and the French are probably not going to like that very much, but I'm just wondering if I care. 5 points of development for an entire province is really not worth it. Plus, we would lose the Palace of the Popes, and I kind of want to keep that. Frankly, we're going to start by previewing the French conquest branch, and if we don't like it, I think we can change it. The French conquest path has you conquer literally all of France, so that's cool, I guess. You can take a look at the other branch, though. The French Alliance branch has some really good modifiers. Oh, and we can move the Pope's Palace anyway. Oh, that's a tough one. I like it when mission trees give me pretty solid reasons to do one thing or the other. It would be nice to be able to conquer all of France. That would be cool. Permanent claims on the entirety of France are neat. On the other hand, tech cost reduction for the rest of the game, making control over monetary policy actually usable because it no longer has the all powers cost, 15% production efficiency, and we get the Pope's Palace anyway. It's kind of good. It's kind of good. And if we don't want these things at some point, we could always conquer France later anyway. You know what? I think we're just going to be friends with the French. Let's do it. Here we go. All right. So the Neapolitan succession, Naples has become independent. Congratulations to them. This mission is just regular. I don't think it matters that much. This is fine. Now, Naples. We are not going to be handing it over to France. That's for sure. I think we're just going to go for subjugation. It's definitely what the mission tree wants. Now, this one's a little bit special because we don't have to worry too much about their liberty desire, but I do have to worry about raising the army. Naples has rivaled us. It's fine. It's whatever. Who cares? We're not quite prepared to invade them right now. We still need to get a bunch of morale, but I just don't want them to ally anybody, so we're going to start the war anyway. And of course, during the war, we'll have this morale of armies and war score from battles. Here's a bit of a tough one. I think what we probably want is to reconcile. Probably gives us a better chance of them maybe, I don't know, converting back to Catholicism. Although I'm not too familiar if this is like vanilla or not. I don't know. We'll take this option. Big battle with Naples. We should be fine though. And that should be a stack wipe. All right, let's leave the cavalry behind because they're kind of expensive to reinforce. We'll send the rest of the guys over to the capital for the siege. We'll also grab our ships, bring them back over to make that faster. Okay, we do have random events for Roman factionalism. I don't really know if they matter that much. Well, if we can get the Orsini family in power, that would be another minus 10% aggressive expansion impact. And that would be really nice right about now. I guess we can live with it. Oh, and free professionalism. Nice. Napoli has been sieged. It was actually not that bad of a war, to be honest. So I kind of do want to vassalize them, but of course we're going to have to annihilate their army first, otherwise they will never learn. And actually, I think the more debt we can put Naples in, the better. There we go. That's 100%. I guess we can let them keep their ships, actually. Let's maybe not annihilate them completely. So 100 ducats, I'll take the full thing. People are not going to be very happy about that, but I don't care. Yoink! So obviously Naples is not going to like that very much, but on the bright side, because they're a subject, they lose 50% liberty desire and gain 100 opinion. Not bad. If we wanted to annex them outright, it would have been more expensive. It would have taken, I think, 2 wars. That could have been a little bit messy. And of course, it would cost more aggressive expansion, that's for sure. So we'll finish this off. We don't actually want this, I don't think, because when we annex Naples, we're not going to get the benefits of either of these. So this is more for like if you take it outright. I think the bottom one is what we want because we get more points for it. They still don't like me, but it's a little better than it used to be at least. And it will, of course, spark a coalition. That was kind of expected. Vassalizing the entire southern coast most of Italy. It's not very popular with the people. Speaking of people with power, though, we do want to be friends with Austria. I still kind of want to join the HRE, and it is possible, so I'm gonna gun for that. In fact, because we're the Pope, it's really not that hard. We just need to appoint a cardinal, and, well, there we go. Now we can join the HRE. Should give us an easier time invading the rest of Italy if they decide to leave, or if they don't decide to leave, rather. Also, I think at this point I should want to annex my 2 subjects, so let's start improving relations with them. I have been for a while, I've been focusing on other things. We can make demands of Venice. They don't like me anyway, so I don't really care if they say yes or no. Yeah, sure. And of course they say no, but that was expected. Venice is literally our rival. Support a holy war? Oh boy, okay. I don't remember if this is a vanilla thing or part of the mod. Poland goes to war with the Tatar nation. Further 150 ducats will be given. Do you even have Lithuania in the... You don't even have them in the personal union. You're not going to war with the Tatars? Yeah, we do not care. At this point, I would be totally okay with selling a couple of titles, taking some land back. Although, unfortunately, it seems like we can only take land back from the burghers. Sorry about that. Renaissance has spawned in Napoli. Kinda wish I took Napoli now. Our other subjects have served us very well in that last war. But unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, so we're going to have to annex them. Which is great for us, because I want to vassalize the Crusader states. First, let's improve relations with Cyprus, get that back up to... Okay, maybe we have to ally them. Oh, right, because you're Orthodox. You don't start Orthodox. I know for a fact Cyprus starts as Catholic, so that's kind of awkward. I guess we'll just go ahead and ally them. That should do the job, I think. They'll be asked to become our vassals, or we get 100 admin. That's a tough one, but I still think I kind of want Cyprus. wait a second. You're already a vassal. I guess let's ask Rhodes, maybe? Maybe they'll say yes? Okay, sure. That works. Ooh, Catholic zealots. Great work, boys. Keep at it. We'll convert Cyprus back in no time. We've also finished this mission, which would give us a very cheap Morale of Navies guy. Unfortunately, we can't really afford any advisors, and our Pope also sucks. We're just not having a great time to start off with. But this would give us permaclaims in the Levant, because of course we're supposed to lead the crusade in this mission tree. Oh, yeah, okay, so at this point, I guess we could, if we wanted to, sell indulgences. Now, I have the feeling that selling indulgences is probably going to speedrun the Reformation, kind of like as it did in real life. I think if we want to delay the Reformation so we can become as strong as possible before we stamp it out, we might want the bottom option. I'm sure selling indulgences will give you a ton of money. I just don't think we necessarily need it. Yeah, let's maybe let's take the third option. The irony of there should be a stable government and corruption in the Colonna family. That's great. Okay, yeah, so having too much influence does give you negative events. Who could have guessed? Isn't that crazy? Okay, so that's not cool. Right, let's figure out a way to fix that. Oh, it requires declaring war on people? Lovely. Well, let's start by rivaling, I think, probably the Ottomans, to be honest. And maybe Lithuania, because they're kind of out of the way and we don't care. This way we can still be friends with Austria and France, probably. So, I kind of forgot. Rhodes does start with Byzantine separatists. And every now and then, a really funny thing happens, where those separatists just take over the entire island, and we would lose a subject. Actually, not that funny. Oh, we have a whole extra thing here I didn't even notice. Toggle the court of advisors. Okay, and yeah, this is new. I don't actually know what the difference is, to be honest. Recruiting a specific advisor through this court will incur a 100% recruitment cost penalty. I see. So in this case, you get to choose what you get, but it will be expensive and they will be level 3. I kind of like that when you're trying to get a specific kind of advisor. Well, for now, we'll just pick something normal. In fact, I think we'll go with missionary strength because I do need more admin anyway, and we can use that to convert our own subject. Cyprus has returned back to the fold. Congratulations, Cyprus. I kind of like that our reforms also influence the Roman factionalism because, you know, we definitely gain way too much. And since religious diplomats passively increases our Roman factionalism, something I wasn't really paying attention to. Yeah, okay. Probably a good idea to grab external mission. Renaissance has appeared in Rome. It's not too expensive. It seems like it's going to take quite a while to actually reach these other provinces, but we have nothing but time at this point, so might as well hold off for a little while. Wait a second. The Ottomans went to war with Byzantium and took everything except for Constantinople. Finally, an actual competent ruler. That 112 was kind of getting on my nerves, especially since he lived like 3 years longer than I was expecting. We are still the Curia controller, of course, and well, we have a pretty decent chance most of the time. You know what? I am gonna be that pope. I am not going to give anybody the institution. In fact, actually, here's an idea. Let's go to the burghers. Let's ask for some money. I've changed my mind. We're going to embrace the institution because it's not really going anywhere that quickly. And then we can sell it to France. You know, if they weren't broke. So maybe we'll sell it to somebody else. Austria, Castile, actually, you have money. Have fun. Oh, there is one other mission I forgot about. Well, apparently 2 of them. Renaissance Papacy. So we get to pick between, I think, well, there are 3 technically permanent modifiers, but they're conditional. We can pick between national unrest and admin cost, or Diplo Rep and Diplo Tech, or military tech and infantry combat ability. The Diplo Rep is kind of enormous for us. Like, the amount that we can stack Diplo Rep is kind of absurd. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that, but I could probably stack that further. Yeah, let me take that. So the condition is simply that we own it, so it is permanent pretty much. As for this other mission that we got through improving relations with enough Catholic countries, we can gain 1 stability, so I think I'm gonna bump that up once. Not twice, just once. And then we'll take this. And now our religious diplomats will give us an extra 20 opinion with the same religion. So we have a whopping 8 Diplo Rep. I think to make good use of that, what we should do is probably focus on Diplo because we want to integrate Naples as fast as possible. It is really our only way of getting more land for the time being. Otherwise, we'll have to invade Florence, which will be quite a bit of aggressive expansion because I plan to invade the entire thing, and me, being stupid, left the rest of Italy in the HRE. So now that we have this church in Rome, we're going to use that to build a marketplace. Surprisingly, as the Pope, we don't actually generate any papal influence right now. So the fact that we managed to keep the Pope status is astounding, but also we should probably get at least 1 cardinal, so let's do that. Stability, don't mind if I do. And let's start integrating Naples. Surprisingly, it won't take that long, but only because we're going to use all of the Diplo power we have available to us. You know, no biggie. Ooh, a little bit of corruption, just a little bit. For 80 ducats, it is quite a bit better than just debasing currency. Yeah, it's just a little bit of money, just a touch. Man, corruption has a big role to play in this country, I guess. I think we want to decrease it. We have a little too much right now, and it's continuing to tick up for reasons I'm not actually sure why. At this point, I think we're more or less prepared to invade Florence. The only problem is you're allied to Austria. That's definitely not what I expected. How about we start off with our idea group, which is, of course, going to be espionage. Oh, never mind. Here's the Shadow Kingdom. You know what? I personally, I think we should probably abandon Italy. Except for me, of course. I'll stay in the HRE. Everyone else, though, they can leave. That's fine. I think we technically count as reined in, so we're going to stay in the Empire. But I think anybody who doesn't really like Austria that much is just going to leave. Okay, let's see. So the Iberian wedding has gone with Aragon. I think in this mod, there's a chance of it either being Aragon or Portugal. So yeah, not Portugal, that's for sure. But it does make our life a little bit easier, because that means that Florence is no longer allied to Aragon. They're only allied to Austria. So I've been currying a few favors, and if we can get enough with Austria, then maybe we can request that they just break their alliance. But it's going to take quite a few more. Alrighty, time to abandon Italy. Sounds good to me, although I think we might stay in the Empire. Because we're allied to the Emperor, we're not going to get the penalties to prestige, unrest, or stability cost. So we have no problems. Seems a good chunk of the HRE in Italy did decide to leave, which is good for us. Again, of course, Florence, not one of those. Because they're allied to Austria, they really don't care that much. But for the time being, you know what? I just invade Siena, maybe, because, it's not that big of a deal anymore. It's a real shame the Emperor decided to abandon the HRE, but don't worry. We'll protect you. Except I have, no ships, so, we'll protect you, but not the sailors. That should be a stack wipe. Requesting to come to their aid in the Burgundian conquest of Vado against Burgundy. Okay, yeah, good luck with that one. I'm probably not going to help you that much. Yeah, sorry, man. I don't think so. And I want the money, but I also want to lose the corruption, and I don't want the Roman factionalism, so no. Oh, I just realized having 3 stability is what's increasing our factionalism. Well, that sucks. Kind of want to decrease the factionalism, but I like having 3 stability. So Genoa's gonna give us war reps, obviously, plus money, and I kind of want your trade as well. Oh, but I can't make you do that, can I? Instead, we'll have them transfer Lucan trade power. We'll take the war reps, we'll take the money, everything else, of course. Okay, we'll just take this then, it's fine. Let's actually go ahead and pay all the loans off. That'll be a good idea. Luca, well, we've already made you transfer your trade power, right? Let's make it something short then. We'll take war reps just for the prestige, really. I don't think I even want their money because it's really not a lot, so we'll come back and we'll conquer them as soon as possible. Siena, of course, predictably, will be annexed. I think the nobility at this point, I should have never given them increased levies, to be honest. So we'll just take that back. More importantly, it means I can take some land back. Of course, you know what? I should have really seen that coming. How can we be as annoying as possible? Oh, right. Support the independence of the knights. No, that's cool. That's cool, I guess. I mean, what are they going to do? Declare independence against me, France, and Austria? Probably not. Also, let's give myself another cardinal. I think that's a good idea. We want as many as possible. We want to keep the Curia for as long as possible. More cardinals is always nice. Wait a second, Luca just outright got annexed. Okay, no trade power for me, I guess. Wait a second, you declare a rivalry of me, and you request an annulment of your marriage? You think I'm going to actually say yes to that? Nah. Beautiful. We've gone ahead and annexed Naples, and you know, in hindsight, I probably should have put the thing on, but if I did that, I'd have to develop them just to keep them loyal, and that would kind of suck. So, you know, all things considered, the -3 penalty is not that bad. Anyway, we've hit our power spike finally, although I don't think we can maintain an army this large. So, well, we definitely don't need this much cavalry. And if we decrease the autonomy in all of these provinces, we should get even more force limit. We should also probably integrate Neapolitan culture, although the penalties really aren't that bad. It's only 100 diplo. We can also finish the Jewel of Southern Italy. Napoli will get a courthouse and a temple, I believe. We'll also be able to use the conditional modifier of the Royal Palace of Caserta, which is this right here, giving us an extra 50% power projection from insults at level 3. So probably not going to see that this game, or at least in this video. I will, however, take that base tax. To help with the economy a little bit, let's take out a couple of loans, burger ones, of course, and we're going to spend that on a few buildings. Next reform, I think we will eventually want education of the theocrat at some point. I don't quite remember what this one does. I'm pretty sure it just adds extra skills for future heirs, but we don't really have that kind of system. I don't know. Like the Teutons have that because they have heirs. Most other theocracies have heirs, but we don't have heirs, so I don't think that applies to us. I think right now the best thing for us would be education of the court. Okay, corruption, lovely. I think we still want to continue decreasing the Roman factionalism. The AE has been cooling down for quite a few years, and we are pretty much back up to date with our admin tech, so I wouldn't mind starting a war. Now, it's not going to be against Venice, because France. Also not going to be against Florence because also France. When did you even do that? Wait, what? Okay, we'll get to that at some point eventually. Main point is we can declare war on Milan. It's not a big deal. We will have to insult them first, and then I guess we'll just need to take Lucca, and that's kind of it. Also, it gives me the opportunity to call Austria into this war. We have enough crown land to sell some titles and take some back. We can use that to repay off, well, don't want to pay off loans. I could maybe instead build a few production workshops, maybe a temple. New Pope. And the papal controller is not me, unfortunately. Well, that's not good. Not that big of a deal, though, because I have a couple of plans. Actually, we're going to go ahead and start off by developing a little bit more in Rome, just to get it to 30 development, since that'll give us a large city necessary for the Age of Discovery. Now that we have enough temples, we can finish off this mission. I'll gladly take that half-cost advisor. And even though we're not the papal controller, it's not a big deal, because we can replace that with this. So we still have minus 20% aggressive expansion. Plus, now that we have 10 favors with France, we can get the last of the trust we need with them. So now we're at 75, and they have 160 opinion of us. So we get solidify French relations. Oh, that's France getting the... Okay, never mind. Apparently I somehow misread that the entire time. It's actually France that gets the aggressive expansion and the global settler increase, which makes a lot more sense. Still, the tech cost, I mean, it's pretty good. So Mantua, let's get some more reps. Pick those rivalries and maybe that alliance as well for extra prestige. Thank you. Yep, corruption in the family, that's cool. Not much we can do about that right now. I mean, I could force myself to lose a stability. I guess that's possible. In fact, that might not even be a joke. I might bring myself back down to 2 stability just to balance this out. Except the only way for us to lose a stability would be by event, or truce breaking, or no CV. I don't want to do all that. I just want to lose 1, not like 3 or 5. Anyway, so Luzzo, same thing with the alliances, rivals, war reps for prestige mostly. And for now, I'm not going to take too much, just this stuff over here. Oh, and we're a great power, which I guess makes sense. We did just take a decent amount of development. Now, I kind of wish I could use that great power status to break this alliance, but I know that's not going to happen. Ooh, Byzantines in Roma. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess Constantinople's finally been taken, so we can get Greek as an accepted culture, which is interesting, but kind of pointless for us. It's not even Greco, it's just Greek. We have Greco in our provinces. We have no Greek provinces. Although it would give us, as the game suggests, an excuse, maybe go to war with the Ottomans. With Austria and Castile, that might not even be that hard now that I think about it. If this crusade branch works the way that I think it does. I imagine at some point we are supposed to go and get Byzantium back. So the core is kind of cool, but I don't think it's strictly necessary. I think we can definitely just release Byzantium later. We don't need the core. We don't need the claim. We can just take the admin. It's fine. I also wanted to mention that I think this was updated for the mod. It's different compared to vanilla, I'm pretty sure, because usually you don't get the yearly army professionalism. And to be honest, I generally just don't find that it's very helpful. But in this mod, that's pretty cool. I don't actually mind the land maintenance modifier in this case. We're gonna spend a little bit of money and a bit of corruption getting another cardinal. Ideally, we get up to 7 as fast as possible. We can also sell a few titles, take some more land back. And I kind of want to finish this mission, so let's hire this treasurer. And finishing this mission will make sure that every treasurer advisor that we have gives us an additional 5% national tax, which is pretty good if you think about it, because they only give you 10%. So getting this guy up to like level 5, for example, will give you a total 35% additional national tax, which is pretty good. Well, at least good in the early game, because, you know, tax. To finish this mission, we could either give 2 more privileges to the clergy or finish 5 of their agendas. I don't know how many of these I've finished, but I think I could just give them more privileges. I don't think it's that big of a deal. In fact, development of temples is one of my favorites. Church sanctuaries, also pretty decent one. So we can finish a holy state, which will give us access to the Benedictines, Franciscans, and Dominicans religious societies. I'm pretty sure that's just going to be these abilities down here. In all honesty, they're not crazy or anything, but this one is definitely the best one. 10% local goods produced modifier scales way better than everything else here. In fact, you know what? Let me go ahead and promote this guy. So now we're up to 85% taxation. That's pretty decent. Also, it could be much higher if we had more crown land. So you know what? I don't even think I would mind putting this down in a few places. Pretty cheap development. Also gives local goods produced, so that's solid. All right, first age ability. Of course, we're going with Justified Wars. We're only at minus 32% aggressive expansion though, which is a shame because, you know, we lost Curia controller. But we do have like a really high chance of getting it back. 47% is, you know, pretty decent. So hopefully we get it next time, and that'll bring us all the way up to minus 52%, and that'll be pretty nice. Oh my god, perfect. We actually do want to lose a stability. This is what I've been waiting for. Look at this. Defectionalism's at 78% because there's one monthly modifier in the entire mechanic, and it's the one that coincides with playing well, so that's kind of a shame, but we need to get rid of this. The truce with the Genoa is up, and coincidentally, they're allied to nobody. Though their ships are a little bit strong, I'm not really gonna worry about that. There goes the army. Ooh, sorry about that, Genoa, but that's okay. We're just gonna take that professionalism. Absolutely, we'll take a tech cost reduction for the next, what is that, 30 years? Damn, it's a lot better than I remember it being. Anyway, we should be able to fully annex Genoa with no issue because we have minus 30% aggressive expansion. I could, if I really wanted to, wait a little bit to see if this guy would die, and then of course that would allow us to, well, maybe get papal controller, 50% chance. Let's put that on the back burner for a second, actually. Hold on a second here. How about we just fully annex Genoa real quick? We are at peace right now, so we're going to ask Austria to break their alliance with Florence. They're going to say yes. Then we have this pending call to arms from France, which is not that big of a deal. I'm just gonna pick someone else up first real quick. We're gonna say yes to this because, well, we don't care that much. France should easily stop Burgundy, I'm pretty sure. The main point about accepting is that France can no longer accept a call to arms from Florence. Perfect. So we're taking a bit of a gamble here. I'm hoping that during the course of the war with Florence, we'll be able to get papal controller. And if we don't, it's gonna get a little complicated. Okay, and this is perfect because Florence just joined a coalition, and since we're declaring war on them, well, that coalition is meaningless. We do not care. Faceting, perfect. Right, you do need 50 prestige for that, don't you? In fact, once we get the Benedictines in there as well, that's going to be perfect for us. Then we can get more goods produced as well. Now, it's been a while since we've insulted somebody, so let's do that. Oh, no. France and Austria, my two friends, may or may not fight each other, which would be bad because of the size of the coalition I'm about to get. We're going to pick this up just so we get a little bit of innovativeness from it, even though it's a little bit more expensive. It's not a big deal because we have minus 15% cost, minus 20 technically from neighbor bonus. Wait a second. I don't know why I'm allowed to seize land right now. I'm at war. Okay. Well, whatever works, I guess. Okay, this guy's 69 years old and he hasn't died yet. Plus, the war exhaustion is getting a little higher than I would like, so I guess that means we lost our gamble, but that's okay. Because you know what they say, when one gamble is a failure, that just means it's time to raise the stakes. So all things considered, we probably won't get declared on by this coalition. The fall of Florence will give us, well, we could decide to lose to corruption or lose, well, basically 20 years of inflation, which I'm pretty sure is literally just just 1 inflation. I mean, it's not terrible, it's just, you know, not worth that much. Although, I do have some plan which might require loans, just for the interest per annum. Maybe I will take that top option. Now that this mission's also done, the city expansion privileges estate privilege for the burghers will now grant minus 15% construction cost and construction time to all of our Italian cities. Usually, I don't take that because it's just kind of okay. It's this one here. It's a reduction in province governing cost for all of the estuaries or centers of trade, but we'll take it because a reduction in construction cost is pretty decent. New Pope! Oh my god, finally. And despite the fact that I think we still had like 50% chance of becoming the new guy, the new papal controller, that still didn't happen, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. On the bright side, this guy is strict, which is massive. We can also reform the guard because I've expanded the army quite significantly. We don't have the military education in Roma, we have the diplomatic one, so let's not worry about the bonus. We do get some yearly army tradition, infantry cost reduction, and 5% army professionalism. Apparently we finished this mission, even though I don't think we really should have, but that's fine, I guess. I don't think we've won at least 3 wars against heathen nations, let alone 9, but I guess maybe that needs to be fixed, probably. Either way, we can grab this. It'll unlock the clergy and officer corps privilege for the clergy estate. The army and navy are now ready. You might be asking for what? Well, we're just gonna declare on the Ottomans, pretty much. We have the alliances for it, and they're not too strong. In fact, we do have the tech advantage, and pretty significantly, because I remember they only just recently grabbed Miltech 6, so we still have a little bit before they grab Miltech 7. In that time, we just have to exploit it. First, we're gonna grab this because it'll give us a CB for Thrace, and as it turns out, maybe I should have grabbed that one event, but I think it's fine. Since we're going to make another subject out of this mission, I'm going to go ahead and annex Cyprus, and this time I will throw on nobility integration policy. That being said, I think everything's in order. We're going to declare our golden era. We can call in Hungary and Austria. I think Castile's just going to take a little bit of convincing when they're done their war with Morocco, but that probably won't take too long. As for our navy, we'll just send it straight to the Strait crossing, and we'll go for Constantinople, of course. We can help the knights. I mean, we get 25 papal influence. It's a good deal. And again, I'm allowed to seize land while at war. Not sure why, but I'm not complaining. We'll sell some titles, take some land back, and we're gonna use that money to, well, actually, I don't know. We've built most buildings that are useful. We'll turn Rome into a level 3 trade center at some point, so we'll just sit on that for a while. Let's do a quick barrage on Constantinople. This naval battle will be an absolute catastrophe for the Ottomans. Yep, there they go. Oh yeah, so because we have 100% loyalty and exactly 100% influence, we can decide to get rid of one of these. And honestly, it's gonna be the inward focus. Now, that being said, let's gain a little bit of devotion, and then we can replace that with clergy in the officer corps, minus 10% leader cost and 15% manpower in true faith provinces. Cyprus has been annexed. I guess we could go ahead and turn that into a state. Now, as for the peace deal, we're not actually looking to get all too much out of this war. Well, that's not completely true. We're looking to get more out of this war than we can actually take. We need 15 provinces in the Balkans to finish this mission. We can't take 15 in this peace deal. It's just not possible. So instead, my idea is that we're going to grab these 3 provinces, we'll release Byzantium from them, we'll take war reparations from the Ottomans, and then we'll have it be a relatively short truce. Then we'll come back in like 10 years, finish reconquering Byzantium, which should be about 15 provinces, and then we can finish this mission no problem. We'll also return 1 corps to our subject though. I think this is actually the first battle we've had against the Ottomans in the entire war. Yeah, it went as well as I expected. And funny enough, we are actually perfectly even matched against the Ottomans, except for morale, and that's it. So it's a good thing we fought when we did, because the Ottomans would have only just gotten stronger. Now, second idea group. I actually don't know what I was hoping for. Maybe divine ideas? I do have a bit of a weak spot for divine ideas. I just really like the fire damage received, and they do combo well with espionage ideas. Another 10% siege ability, and artillery levels contribution to siege? I have no idea what that means, but okay. We are at our 4th reform, and I think it's pretty easy to say that we're going to go with head of the Catholic Church. We do want to become the defender of the faith, which will give us additional improved relations, plus the maximum absolutism is pretty nice. Or it would be if I decided to play until that long. Now let's finish off espionage ideas. Oh, perfect. We're the new papal controller. So yeah, that's minus 56% aggressive expansion. So we can extend the golden era by 5 years, which would be great, of course. Then minus 7 monthly splendor for, oh sorry, what is that? 100 years? It's probably not worth that considering the age Age of Reformation is the one where we get the war score cost versus other religions, and we are going to be, you know, crusading a little bit. So I don't think we want that, actually, because Splendor is harder to come by than you'd think. How about no? As for the Golden Bull, I mean, doesn't really matter which one we pick. The development cost would be nice if I were actually developing all that much. Otherwise, unrest in Catholic provinces is really not that bad. I was going to take a more modest peace deal, but now that we're the Curia controller and we have a bunch of aggressive expansion reduction, I've changed my mind. Instead, we're going to take all this stuff. We'll release Byzantium. This will go to the Knights, and the Ottomans should not be able to recover. Okay, so the Papal Balkans. Lovely. Let's release Byzantium. We're going to have to come back in 15 years to reconquer the rest of their provinces, but for now, we're just going to hand them our possessions in the Balkans. Half-cost missionary strength guy would be pretty good right about now. However, the national tax guy might actually give me more money than the half-cost level 3 guy. Weirdly enough, it's just because of the modifier from tax. I'm still going to take the prestige though, of course. With that advisor, we finished off the nepotism mission. Gives us 100 admin power, which is nice. Also gives us decisions to swing the balance of power in Roman factionalism, which is perfect because without that, it's kind of been an issue for us. In the Age of Reformation, we'll be allowed to enact a decision to pass the Pax Romana Papal Bull, which will either get rid of the Roman factionalism or empower it. So we might be able to take a look at that later. As for swinging the scales, I mean, we kind of do want to move things in the direction of the Orsini family for further aggressive expansion reduction. And it's only at the cost of 1 Diplo rep, which is fine because we have quite a lot of it. We do actually have a mission to improve the development of Genoa. So instead of making Rome into our level 3 trade center, we're gonna do that in Genoa instead. And there goes the coalition. Let's go ahead, sell some titles, see some more land back. We can build a couple of buildings. I think I'm also going to go ahead and annex the Knights at this point. We're gonna replace that relationship slot at some point with Switzerland. The only reason it's gonna have to be Switzerland is for this mission down here. If we get too much aggressive expansion, then the Swiss are not going to like me very much. We just barely have enough relations with Switzerland to finish off this mission. But anyway, yeah, I think that's gonna be it for Switzerland then. I don't know what's in these branching paths, but I do know that we need these provinces up here. Alright, I'll just take these provinces then, I guess. Only 22 aggressive expansion. Not bad. In fact, I guess we technically don't need to worry that much about those 2 Swiss provinces. Oh my god. Hold on, sorry. Is that another 20% aggressive expansion impact reduction? I didn't even notice that. Oh, that is ridiculous. Okay, I asked just to confirm, and the additional minus 10% aggressive expansion impact is actually the one that's listed above it. So you only get 10%, but we can still work with minus 10%. Now, Venice is unfortunately allied to France, but on the bright side, France and I are pretty decent friends. In fact, I'm kind of glad that we went with the friendship path, because that's not once, but twice that it's been pretty helpful. Alright, we have a level 3 military advisor, so we can finish off this mission. We'll be able to recruit up to 20 French musketeers due to our friendship with France. And those musketeers are pretty decent. I mean, increased land fire damage, reduced morale damage received, and not even that much more expensive. Castile has finished their war, so France, we're gonna ask you to break that alliance. Thank you. And now we can hopefully take, well, most, if not all, of Venice. Uh-oh. Okay, so Austria is not very happy with the fact that we want 1 province together, both of us. You want Venice for some reason, and I don't know why, but okay. We need someone to decorate the Sistine Chapel, and out of all of these options we can pick, either missionary strength or I think national unrest would be the best ones. How about we go with national unrest? Okay, veneration of relics, allow or disallow. I think we're just gonna prevent people from selling them. Like yearly tax income plus 5, not really worth that much. Besides, if we prevent the sale, then we can decrease the Reformation desire, which is really low, I think also because I intentionally took that other option, the one that slows it down. So I don't know how far you can go with this, but maybe you can keep the Reformation from happening at all. But I think if you do that, it breaks a little bit of the game mechanics. So, I mean, not completely, right? Germans will still be able to spawn the printing press, I guess. Petition from the United Provinces with a little bit of lorem ipsum. Okay, so we reduced the Curia Treasury by 1,000. Catholicism loses some reform, and I think it just does what this decision was going to do. If the reform desire was high enough, we could grab this, and it does, I think, the exact same thing. Otherwise, they're not going to like us very much, and it'll increase the reform desire. And frankly, it's not my money, it's the Curia's, so I don't care. But yeah, I guess we can become Defender of the Faith, can't we? How much prestige does Frankfurt have? How did you even do this? Why did you even do this? They have 99.6 prestige, and I have 99.63, so I get to take that. So So Bologna, I'll just full annex because nobody cares. And that looks like a stack wipe on Venice. So Venice, we're mostly interested in taking their territories in Italy, of course, but I don't think I would mind necessarily maybe picking up 1 or 2 additional provinces. Maybe one over here. Yoink. Barely any coalition because of our aggressive expansion reduction, but unfortunately, we're gonna have to come back and grab Venezia, because we could either take the provinces we need, or we could take Venezia and still need more provinces later, because it just is that expensive of a province. Before I core anything though, I'm gonna go ahead, give some land rights to both the nobility and the burghers. I'm gonna wait a day so we get a little bit of our crown land from conquering Venice. Then I'm gonna see some more crown land back. Then we're gonna finish coring these, because being over the governing capacity also reduces your admin efficiency. Second French-Burgundian unification war. I really thought that they had finished it the first time, but okay. Austria's being a little bit annoying about that alliance, so we're going to get some more trust. Hopefully that'll fix the problem temporarily. And I'm also going to go to war with Savoy. I think at this point, we're also going to remove maybe right of council from the nobility. I don't think they really need that anymore. From the burghers, I think they also don't really need free enterprise, but they can keep it for now. All right, Savoy, do I want to take the whole thing? I mean, technically that's part of France, but also technically it's now part of the Papal States, so that's too bad. Austria wants to be annoying again, so if I'm forced to pick between having Austria or, say, Hungary as an alliance, probably just gonna ditch Hungary, to be honest. I kind of like having my diplomatic immunity in the HRE, so I'll bump up the trust so they don't feel too bad about it. Now, that being said, let's go steal some HRE territory. Oh, okay, well, I don't think I've seen this event before, but 40 ducats for 10 army tradition is a bargain. And this just gives me free points. Okay, cool. Okay, Pope's dead, but on the bright side, we are still the papal controller, which means we get to retain our minus 80% aggressive expansion cost. So free corruption, that's cool, I guess. If I had to guess, this guy is probably going to live until colonialism spawns, and colonialism is probably going to spawn in either Portugal, Castile, maybe England. So I am going to take this one preemptively. Okay, hold on a second. So the son of the Pope has decided to become an absolutely cracked general. 4543. Well, I know we have some things that have to do with like becoming battle Pope. I wasn't sure if that was going to be an event chain or probably after we finish this, to be honest. I guess for now we get Battle Pope Light, and another event giving us 150 points and a half cost level 3 production advisor. You know, I'm pretty sure this guy is still making us more money. The best part by far about having minus 80% aggressive expansion is that I can take pretty much whatever I want with nearly 0 consequences. Sure, I'll take it. And then of course that'll be a full annexation for Saluzzo. To finish off one of these other missions, we need to give them a gift. Not a very large one, just any gift will do. I think at least one opinion. And a quick insult to England will make sure that they like us enough that we can increase a little bit more trust. So if we drop a little bit more development in here, that'll finish off this mission. France and I both get 15% production efficiency and global prosperity growth, which is quite nice. Plus the burgher privilege control over monetary policy will no longer grant a penalty on all powers cost. Normally the big issue with this is that it's decent, however, you know, 5% additional power cost makes it kind of not worth it. Now it's just kind of a free bonus. Oh, that's lovely. Okay. The Mamluks are looking extremely weak right now, and it seems for whatever reason, Transoxiana has like 50,000 troops, but I don't think they're going to be that big of a deal. And since Castile kind of wants some of this territory, I'm just not going to call them in. This will finish off our divine ideas, an extra 15% manpower in True Faith provinces, and the policy gives us additional siege ability, plus artillery levels contribution to siege. I don't really know what that does. Oh yeah, there you go. Each artillery counts for 200%, so we only actually need 2 artillery to get the +2 bonus, 3 artillery for the +3 bonus, 4 artillery for the +4 bonus, and 5 for the +5. Suddenly, that makes artillery quite a bit better. Oh. Okay, who knows where he is at this point, I guess. Gone? Maybe? Ooh, there he is. And wait, he left, he's gone. Or maybe he isn't, I have no idea. They're evacuating him again, okay. So just a test, having 4 artillery on this one fort, yeah, that gives us 4 bonus. Maybe I should take Espionage Divine more often. Alright, we've captured the Caliph. Now, this mission is going to demand that every Muslim nation converts to Catholicism. I imagine if we, you know, take any of these 2 options, they're probably not going to agree. So, we're just gonna keep him hostage for a couple years. I'm sure that'll be fine. This is probably a modded event. So 25 years of manpower power and reduced miltech cost, or extend the golden age by 5 years, and then for the next 100 years, reduced loyalty on the nobility. Which kind of sucks, because the nobility are the ones we have the least loyalty for, so we're probably gonna say no to that. We'll take the top option. Alright, time for the battle of the century, although the enemy has 12 cavalry in the mountains, so it's probably not gonna be that tough. Yeah, that was remarkably easy, actually. Well, at Koyonlu, we don't really have any beef with you, so just war reps, maybe a little bit of money. Finally, Transoxiana is willing to leave the war, and with that we can take our mostly reasonable peace deal. And technically we don't need to take all this, because once we release Jerusalem, they will get cores on the entirety of the Mashriq region, which is this entire part. So I could just release like 3 provinces and then reconquer the rest, but the aggressive expansion is so negligible that reconquest doesn't even matter. So we're given 3 options. 1, we release Jerusalem as a Crusader March, the one I'm probably going to take just because they will receive unique subject missions. Second, we could just automatically convert the area and get a couple of bonuses for 20 years. Third one, we just increase the monument of Jerusalem by 1, and it'll also give our Pope an additional point. But we're gonna go with the top one. It just seems like the thing we're supposed to do. So, Jerusalem. Lots of missions for you. Missions which definitely seem to be encouraged for like co-op kind of game. But if we complete these missions, we do actually get quite a few bonuses. So like extra development, we get access to the tier 3 global bonuses of Jerusalem for ourselves. Jerusalem also loses Liberty Desire, so that's cool. Definitely a lot to explore here if we felt like doing that today. Also, yeah, I'm curious about this mission here, because we did just capture the Caliph, right? Like, he's currently in Rome at the moment, so you'd think that would finish the mission, but maybe we have to do something. So apparently this mission is not currently working, but it will be by the time you guys get your hands on it. The mod's been out for a few days and no one's noticed yet, so the workaround I was given is to open up the console commands, put this in here. As you can see, I've done at least once or twice. That'll complete the mission, and then this other script I was given, I called pope.txt, and it should give the correct event to all of the Sunni countries, not all Muslim nations, because apparently that's not supposed to be that. So now we get to see who actually decided to convert, and it seems like it's pretty much nobody. Actually, no, I'm so wrong. Like, oh, I don't see a lot of rebels pop up. Nope, the Ottomans are now Catholic. So are the Mamluks. Oh, this is beautiful. That's perfect. The only thing that could make it better is if they also decided to target potential Shia countries as well, because that would be super funny. We're also pretty close to being able to embrace colonialism, so I think I'm just going to do that. We can start by taking a little bit of money out of a few provinces, and because we have like a ridiculous amount of taxation, it actually gives us a substantial amount of money, and we can use that to embrace the institution. And now Austria is being kind of annoying. Cool. Well, I don't mind so much because Hungary is not really that strong. I figured also, we're in the area, we might as well finish this war against the Ottomans, or I guess start the war against the Ottomans. You know what's really funny is we could immediately just excommunicate the Ottomans. That is so funny. But they have no chance of becoming Pope anyway, so we'll just excommunicate England, that's fine. That is so funny. I'm like, wait a second, why are there so many Catholic zealots in the Great Horde? And then I realized, oh, the rebels spawn in countries that don't willingly convert. That's what's happening. That's interesting. 550 ducats, or, well, temporary modifier that is not going to be that helpful. So essentially 3 base manpower and a splendor, or nothing. I know it's not worth it, but I'm gonna pay the money anyway. Maybe there's something that comes from this. I guess that'll be everything from the Ottomans then. All of the Byzantine cores, plus a few extras just for the fun of it. Only 6.7 aggressive expansion. Cheapest war of my life. That'll finish off this mission. Well, we have 2 options. First, let's talk about how we get a permanent claim on the entirety of Anatolia. Then we get the option to mend the schism, demanding every Orthodox country converts to Catholicism. The higher the opinion, the more likely. That all makes sense. And then in the event, we get 2 options. Change Byzantium to the Latin Empire, which I'm going to. Or we could go with the second option, which empowers our Pope, makes him 3 points stronger, and changes the development of Hagia Sophia by 1. I'm gonna go with Latin Empire, mostly just for the roleplay purposes. That is now a Catholic Latin Empire who seems to have just the same Byzantine mission tree, which is fine, because, you know, it's a pretty decent mission tree. But I've been told that we can mend the schism, so all we need to do is be at peace, and then we can give it a shot. The Ottomans were so upset by us crushing them in war, they converted back to Sunni. Yeah, you know what? That's fine. That's really funny, actually. That war is finally over. Could have left it earlier if I really wanted to, but I saw no harm in remaining inside the war, because it gave us an opportunity to improve relations with all of the Orthodox countries, so they more or less like me. I've been doing quite a little bit of developing, so we get tons of crown land, also reducing the influence of all of our states through that. that. At this point, we can just get rid of free enterprise. We don't need it. Then we can sell some titles and see some more crown land. Ooh. What is happening? They want to make every province part of the empire. I mean, that's not really a big deal since it already kind of is. Like, I don't think this does anything. Well, I don't think Austria is necessarily going to try and fight us. After all, we would definitely win. So, I don't think it really matters. I guess we'll just say yes, because it doesn't change the situation at all. Although it may have added all of our provinces, including these ones, which is a little bit weird. But, all right, let's mend the schism, I guess. See who decides to convert. And it's, I think, everybody except Muscovy. But hey, that's not really that bad. We've managed to get Catholicism pretty far, like a lot farther than I thought it would get. Now, we're not quite done yet because we still need to invade Venice. I guess we might as well grab whatever we need to grab here. In theory, condottieri contracts, because that will allow us to finish this mission here. And if we really need to, we can just change it later. This pretty much just makes mercenary companies in Italy half cost for professionalism. The truce with Venice is up, and we should be able to defeat their navy. Their army was no issue either. And in 60 days, Venice has fallen. That didn't take very long. What was that, like 9 months? All right, that's most of Italy unified. We can finish off this mission. Pretty much just fixing up Venezia now that we've conquered it. And this mission, which I should have finished a long time ago if I could have taken Venice, will make us the Kingdom of God. Apparently, we can also just steal the Curia controller, so that's kind of cool. When declaring the Kingdom of God, you're faced with 2 options. And let's be honest, you're only really faced with one option. This event will just show you a preview of what the missions down here will look like. These are the 2 paths. We'll just take a look at the peaceful one because I'm not going to lock it in. It actually is kind of interesting. It empowers almost all of the Catholic countries, giving everyone access to the holy orders. Also, we can just send missions to non-Abrahamic faith religion nations, which is, well, most of them at this point, because the ones that are Abrahamic are either Shia or a lot of them have just converted to Catholicism. So, all right. I guess the peaceful Pope path is kind of cool. You get the Grand Crusade, which actually functions as a crusade, where other Catholic countries have a decision to join in the crusade. Credit where it's due, that's pretty neat. Now, if we take a look at the Battle Pope path, we can get papal militarization. All holy orders now also give 15% local manpower, which is pretty good. Makes it cheaper to establish those local organizations. And we get a permanent CB against neighboring heathens and heretics, which of course we would have gotten anyways through the religious ideas. We can establish crusader marches. Well, that's what Jerusalem is, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, a crusader march. I'm not sure how those differ from regular marches. Oh, triple manpower increase during religious wars. Yeah, okay, I could see that being pretty great for vassal swarming. Then we can convert the Pope to a general. He gets +1 maximum pips in all categories, and we get a permanent +2 monarch military skill. It's actually a pretty tough choice then. I mean, the Battle Pope path is super memeable, so of course we're going to take that. But if you feel like playing the Papal States yourself, then the quote-unquote peaceful Pope path that allows you to declare crusades is actually pretty viable. But of course, we have to declare ourselves the Kingdom of God. But I think that's where we're gonna leave things off for today. There are a ton of missions that I haven't shown you yet. Also, a lot of missions for Jerusalem that I haven't shown you yet. And you know what, actually, let's just see what the papal militarization thing is before we finish things off. Let's see. At maximum, devout fervor has the following effects: 10% morale of armies, triple manpower increase during religious wars, and 30% manpower in true faith provinces. That is insane. It seems we have a button here that doesn't really do anything, or maybe it does later, I don't know. And this one we would have to enact a reform in order to use. Unfortunately, we can't just turn the Pope into a general right now. But yeah, looking at those pips, like the upgraded stats, that's crazy. I think that's where we're going to leave it for today though. We made the Latin Empire, we made Jerusalem, declared the Kingdom of God, converted a whole bunch of countries to Catholicism, and the Reformation is nowhere in sight. Only 47% reform desire in 1509. It may or may not be possible to actually go the entire 1600s without having the Reformation fire. That would be interesting. Oh, and we have a bunch of buttons now as well. Levy church tax, forgiveness of usury on ourselves, seize Curia treasury funds. That's kind of broken. For just 1 corruption, that is an insanely better version of debased currency. And then fund militarization for our new mechanic. That's crazy. But okay, I'm getting sidetracked. Anyway, thank you guys for stopping by. There are so many more things for the Papal States that I want to show off, but frankly, if I do that, then you guys will have nothing to explore for yourselves. So the mod is currently out and updated. You can play this yourself, and ideally will be functional when you play it as well. For now, this is Corbett signing off, and as always, have a fantastic day. Big shout out to the patrons. patrons for this month. All these people receive early access to videos, so if you want to yourself, it is literally just $1. If you want to donate more, you can, but you don't really have to. I would like to give a special thank you to those people, though, including Erica, Baby Cow, Lukebecker, Nick Steffel, Cubrute, AG Forero, Ben Motram, Quiet Guy, Torvalved, Ambient Cyan, James Levy, Luke78776, and Robert.